Welcome, everybody, to episode 115. That many. Of the Geek Dad Report. The one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and to bring you guys all the weekly nerd news that happened this week, and maybe last week, and maybe next week. I don't know. I, as always, am Brian West, the hostess with the mostest, and this beautiful man right here is my co-host, the Porg.
Hey, I'm over here too. I may be sick and recording from one of my unpainted rooms in my drug den house.
Two things, Ryan. And everybody, that's Ryan Tomlinson, our unwanted guest that just showed up for the episode. I told you can be on the episode if you are quiet and do not let people know that you are currently in a crack house. But you have broken both those rules. You are out.
Well, I'll wait until you actually kick me out, and we'll see how that goes.
Somebody say crack. I heard crack. Who's got crack?
God damn it!
I
thought
crack.
Harrison, did you stop doing alcohol and now you're just a drug addict?
No, those are fake news. It's alleged. God damn it, Callista, who's talking to goddamn newspapers again? Fucking goddamn it, Ryan! You cannot mention drugs or alcohol on this show because fucking drunk Harrison Ford is literally he's moved in my house. I tell you that, he's living downstairs on the couch.
I thought he never left.
I kicked him
the last time
twice. Fucking Callista put like an Uber account like on a credit card, but he ran out of fucking credits. He just would get in it and he would drive around, and he's real old, so he'd forget where he was at, and he'd just drive around for hours. Man, what the hell's wrong with you? You gotta buy the good crap.
So the second day my daughter came back from school, she started coughing. And then, within the next week, she's got, cold. Now I got it. So I've been fucking coughing.
You need some goddamn cough medicine.
I need some super whiskey nipples is what I need.
Somebody say cough medicine? Whiskey? Oh, buddy. I could use some whiskey. I tell you about the time that me and Chewy went on a Carillion whiskey cruise? Oh, buddy. We got a 2-for-1 special, and I'm not talking about the food. Oh,
it looks like you're doing a good job on you've been working on your ventriloquism because your lips don't move as much as they used to. So it's almost like...
God damn, Harrison. Fucking puked all over everything. Harrison, pull it together.
So I'm going to apologize.
All right, guys.
In advance, one for Harrison Ford, and then if I cough straight into the microphone,
did somebody did I lose my earring?
Anyone's ears.
Look, is my earring still in there? Do you see a giant diamond? See my blaster? Quit looking at my package, Ryan. God damn it, I'm out of here.
I'm sorry, Harrison.
Harrison,
but
I told you,
Brian?
If you want to be co-host, you cannot throw up on the computer. I ran the
It's better than last time.
12 parsecs.
Didn't he take
do whatever I want.
Didn't you take a big dump on your computer last time?
Where's Ron Howard? Heard they're making a movie
Ron
about
Howard?
I'll be back later. Ron! Fucking Howard! God damn Harrison Ford. Don't mention any booze, cough medicine, or crack. Let's keep coming back.
Or tell him there's... Yeah. Well, if the Porg is just your co-host, then do I need to go? Is that the...
No, I told you can be in this episode if you sit quietly. And everyone knows you're in a crack house, so keep the crackheads off to the side a little bit.
No, I just shot him.
Oh,
I figured.
Wow, I would not. I don't know if
go.
admitting to a crime, maybe a murder. Admitting murder is probably not the best thing to do. You know the show goes out on the interwebs, right?
Well, that's what you told me to do. So are you saying that you didn't tell me to do that?
I did not tell you anything. You're not dragging me down for your little murder spree you went on. Fucking goddamn criminal. Whatever. Hit you with the fucking...
Hey, I do what I gotta do.
Fucking Emperor Palpatine over there.
I know. I watch a lot of Dave Chappelle's show. Mm-hmm. And thanks to Tyrone, I know exactly what to do. So,
well, okay. Well, why you Why you sit at your house and you're
let's just start doing. I think we sidetracked enough.
I didn't even get to tell you about my week. You know, I being all sick and I got a new dog, and I like this is actually whiskey in here. We're back to whiskey again. This isn't whiskey nipples, but this is like, yeah, this is scotch in a first order mug.
So
it's kind of week I've had.
Did you get a bulldog, or is she another?
Yeah, we got an
French
English.
bulldog.
No, we got an English bulldog. She was needed somebody to take her because she couldn't afford her anymore, and she had to move. So we stepped up and we adopted a 4-year-old English bulldog named Lola.
Now, does she come with a tuning fork?
No.
On the head, or
no? You know what? I wouldn't want her to because I don't want her to be like that show and canceled after like 1 week of being with us. We'd have to send her back. Plus, that bulldog is like 800 pounds, and this bulldog's like 50 pounds. And if Lockjaw is anything like Lola, that is a pain in the ass dog. She is adorable, but oh my god, that dog is stubborn, does not listen, snorts, farts, and grunts all day long. She's adorable, but I'm telling you, man, I was sitting on the couch, so I got my French bulldog and my English bulldog sitting on opposite ends of me, and it's like they have a fucking fart off, right? They both start farting, but it's not even silent. You can hear them both squeaking them out. And then you do it at the same time, and I'm just getting gassed out between the two of them. It was fucking terrible, but we're adjusting. She's a good dog for the most part.
You got the fart sensations going on now.
It sounds like a band. It's like a Marky Mark hit song. I got the good vibrations. Come on.
Yeah, you can get the vibration through the couch.
Yeah. It's not good with dogs. They stink, but, you know, whatever. But it's been fun. I mean, the kids have been kind of crazy with the dog, but whatever. What do you do? They're pretty excited.
Yeah, that's going to happen regardless of what kind of dog it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, and she's super lazy. I mean, as far as dogs go, I mean, like I said, she's super chill and really lazy, but you know, everybody, we haven't learned her routine yet. She doesn't know our routine yet, so she's, you know, 10 o'clock at night, I'm trying to watch TV, and she wants to fucking run around the house and eat the couch. I'm just like, no, bad dog. And then when she gets mad at me, she turns around and just sticks her butt at me, and she won't move.
Has that happened to you before in your house?
Yes, I'm surrounded by nothing but women with attitude in my home.
Yeah.
5 vaginas are now in my house, and me. That's it.
It sounds like you almost live like you need a little bit of extra. God, I lost my whole train of thought.
Extra Scotch whiskey in my
you need something. Cup. That's for sure.
You see it?
God.
Almost, yeah. It's a... Somebody say whiskey? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go. Get on my goddamn Scotch, Harrison.
Oh my god.
God, he's such a drunk. I can never replace. You know what? I'll tell you right now. The Porg may be the co-host. Me and the Porg have had lots of talks this week. He's got a lot of good ideas, and he's going to bring a lot to the show.
You can comprehend the whole language already?
I can speak Porg. It's quite a skill that I have. But
do you have a...
I cannot understand for the life of me anything that fucking Harrison Ford says, though. It's always a lot of mumbling and yelling.
Yeah. And just the cost and booze is fairly astronomical itself.
Thank God we have a Costco nearby, but still, it's getting ridiculous. Whatever. You know what? I don't want to bitch about Harrison Ford. How many people get to have a fucking legend live in their fucking basement? Not very many people, so I don't want to seem ungrateful, but whatever. Anyway, and you sound like you're dying, so you just want to move on with the show? Just dive right in 10 minutes after we started?
I think that is a very good idea, because I have no train of thought tonight. I'm going to apologize in advance. It's been a fucked up week for me, and so I'm not going to be on my game tonight. That's probably so. All
right, well,
but
good enough. Hey, you know what? Good for us. I got big, broad, beautiful shoulders. Look at these big guns. Yeah. Push that up a little bit. There we go. Look at that.
You got your logo.
And I can carry the show. Boom, right here. All right, Ryan. First up, We're gonna end up on. We're gonna start on a sad note. I don't know.
No.
I don't think you can really say this is sad
I don't know
news.
if it's sad.
I mean, the dude was 91 years old, but the world...
and he lived the life every single dude in the history of dudes ever wanted to live.
Yeah, you know what? It's not a sad day. Fuck that guy. He lived the life, like you said, that every man wished they could live, and maybe even like 50 men wish they could live at once.
Yeah.
Hugh Hefner died today. Was it today or yesterday? He died this week.
No, he died on September 17th.
Really? They didn't tell anybody?
Yeah. He died on September 17th, but the family waited to make an announcement on it. So he's been dead for like 10 days.
We're going to say that he died today. Hugh Hefner died today at the age of 91. And, yeah, you know what? The guy's an icon. I'm sure there's a lot of women out there who hate his guts. People call him a sexist pig. Some people have called him an activist, a First Amendment rights person. I call the guy, he's a guy who's a product of his times, who lived the life that he wanted to live. And most of us men out there, I can't speak for the women or the ladies, but most of us guys, our first boobs came from an issue of Playboy. So
yeah, especially those of us from the pre-internet age. I mean, Playboy doesn't even have anything like that anymore because they're trying to be...
No, they're going back to boobs.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
They're like, no, boobs. That's what works.
But, you know what? As far as smut goes, in the age of let's make it more and more disgusting, his mantra was always to keep it classy. So all the girls, whether you, however you feel about how they were exhibited, they always were done in a very beautiful, tasteful, as far as nude goes, way, and he never went pornographic, which a lot of other magazines did. He always kept it classy. So.
You only saw the top half.
And you know what? Some beautiful ladies in Playboy. A lot of ladies made a career out of that. So I don't know. Take it as what you will. Whether you liked him or not, he was an icon, and most men alive know the name of Hugh Hefner. So.
Do you remember the first issue that you hid between your mattress?
I know. I never took one home because I grew up in a weird Christian family, and like if they would have found it, it might have been off with my head, or at least like a demon possession like ritual. So they would have put me in a circle and probably tried to cast the demons out of me. Little did they know the demons were all located in my balls. They were hiding away deep down inside there. But no, we had. Funny enough, we actually lived a stereotype. We had a box out in the woods that we found, and we kept it hidden. And all the little neighborhood boys, we all knew where it was. And we all go take our turns looking at it. And I just mean look. Maybe somebody else did something else, but not me. This is gross. No one wants... You know what else you don't want to do? You know what else you don't want to get caught doing as a young Christian man? Getting whacking off in the woods. That's what you don't want to get caught doing. So I didn't do that either. That's the double demon possession.
The first issue that I ever came across was the Christy Swanson one right after Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, man.
And, that was the one that I tucked in between my two mattresses.
Dude, I don't even... The first one I ever found was like some girl from like 1979, man. She had like giant afro bush. It was like...
Oh. Yeah, I found where my dad hid all his stuff. Like,
oh, man.
When I was like
the
16. Well, because he always goes hunting every year. And...
Apparently so did Ryan.
Yeah. But he's because we always had a big huge barn. He would always keep like they had like a giant like surplus army tent that they used, like that could fit like 8 guys, and they would all go hunting. So I found out.
Whoa! Let me go back. Your dad has a big tent that can fit 8 guys
for hunting.
Continue. I'm going to drink some more of my scotch here. Go ahead. Continue on, Ryan. I want to hear all about this story.
But I found... I was looking for something in the barn, and I found all the hunting supplies and a Sears box that I'd never seen before. And it was just like a gigantic box full of Lady Migs. And that was where I got to see the large variety of pornography that was out there. That was not Playboy.
That's where people are going to miss out. And, any of you ladies watching our show, you may not understand what we're talking about, but every guy's rite of passage is finding somebody else's, usually an uncle or father figure's stash of porn that they had somewhere hidden in the bedroom. And I think it was Chris Rock or somebody who said that, like, men turn into Batman when they're trying to hide their porn. And they do, man. They got, like, trapdoors and shit. But also as a guy, you don't, like, just, I'm going to look under the mattress. You're like, I bet you he has a hollow drawer in his dresser. So you're filling up underneath the dresser drawer trying to find the stash because that's where we hide stuff. Oh, Stormtroopers. Now I'm back. But it's kind of sad to me that this next generation of men, maybe that's where, everybody says there's something wrong with millennials. Maybe that's what it is. They've never had to hunt for the porn stash, the Playboys. Yeah. All of our porn stashes now are right here on our phone.
Yeah, you just go into private mode.
And, I got one of those lock apps that looks like a calculator. You just got to put in 69 plus 69 plus 69, and you get all the porn. It's great. Well, great. Gosh. You know what? I just realized now I got to fucking change my password. Son of a bitch. All right, moving on. Anyway, like we always say on the Geek Dad Report, well, Hugh, thanks for the memories and everything else that you brought our young adolescent lives. But good journey, and may the force be with you, Hugh.
I would say maybe you're in a better place, but I doubt anywhere else you could be in a better place right now than where he got to.
I guess it depends on your definition of good deeds.
Yes.
I did see the funniest meme, right? And I saw somebody post like "too soon?" and people were like, "Nah, he's 91. He's not. You're 91. It's not too soon." But somebody they had like a picture of a terrorist yelling like, "When you die, you get 40 virgins." And it showed a picture, then all of a sudden it showed Hugh Hefner, and he said, "Well, not for long. You better get here quick." I was like, yes.
Did it show a big bottle of Viagra?
Bottle of Viagra and a 70s afro bush. No, it did not. Anyway, all right. So from Hugh Hefner from one icon to another, Star Wars Episode 8 is officially done. It's finished. Post-production, done. Special effects, done. Music, done. Raise your hand if you want to break in with me to Lucasfilm and steal a copy, because I want to see it now.
Yeah. DVD sent to us in the mail, done. Right?
Yep. I know a guy who can get us in. Somebody say they want to break into Lucasfilm. I don't fucking care about Star Wars. They killed me anyway, spoiler alert. Dead.
But they're making a Han Solo movie.
But they don't have me. I just beat up Ron Howard and his bald brother, and they said they won't put me in the movie. I said I want a cameo, and they said no.
You could have played Han Solo's father.
I said I want to play Han Solo. They said a young Han Solo. I said, okay, I'll put in 2 diamond earrings.
Go drink some more, Harrison.
My jokes are funny. Harrison. Fuck you. God, where's a plane? I'm flying to Lucas, stealing that movie. Put myself in it.
It's Harrison. Brian keeps his porn stash in his closet, so just go up in there.
What? I'll be back. Dude, why'd you tell him he's in my closet? He's going to be looking there forever. It's on my phone. Last time Harrison went to my kitchen and closet or whatever to find something, and he got real angry because he couldn't find it. He threw everything out. So last time I hid the tequila under the table.
I'm sorry. I don't know how much longer I could take him just interrupting everything.
Well, like you know what? That's what you get with drunk Ford, right? You invited him on the show one time, and he stuck around forever. At least he's not living with you. Yeah. Anyway, so Last Jedi's finished. Who cares? I want it now. Hopefully nobody steals it and releases it online because I'll be pissed. But it makes me wonder, what is it, September? Why do we gotta wait till December? Can we just move it up?
I don't know. I think they should.
It's like Star Wars. You could release it tomorrow and it would make $1 billion immediately.
Well, they gotta do all the special screenings for all the fancy Disney people.
Yeah.
Now I know that they do a really early screening at the Lucasfilm for everybody that works there. They get to see it way before everyone.
Well, Ryan, I'm tasking you with one very important task. You need to get us into that screening immediately.
Okay. I will do that.
I will, when Harrison comes off his bender, I will tell him to put in a word with us with Lucas, but I don't know. He beat up Ron Howard. I don't know if we have much pull anymore. Ugh, what a dick.
We'll see.
Oh well, you know what?
You never know.
Maybe they're waiting to release that new trailer. So apparently it's been confirmed. We talked about last week. Mark Hamill accidentally dropped the news that the trailer is going to be released during the Monday Night Football game on October 9th.
Accidentally.
And then he immediately deleted that comment. And then people asked him why he deleted it, and he said no reason. And they said, "Did somebody at Star Wars talk to you?" And he says, "No. All I can tell you is that they will release it whenever they want to release it. And, I don't know why everybody got real mad. They just don't understand Monday Night Football humor."
Yeah.
Well, that led to this week Disney officially announcing they are going to be releasing the next Last Jedi trailer during the Monday Night Football game on October 9th.
God damn it, Mark.
You know what's funny about that, though, is like, what are you going to say to Mark Hamill? Right? Are you going to be like, you're fired? No, he's Luke Skywalker. Come on. He can do what he wants.
Yeah. He could have zero give fucks and get away with it if he really wanted to. He has
zero give fucks and he can get away with it because he's freaking Luke Skywalker. Or whatever. Last little bit of Star Wars news we have for you guys is, so there's a book coming out that is called, hang on, I don't want to mess it up. It's called
Brian's Star Wars Fantasies.
Brian Wears the Princess Leia Bikini. It's a full pictorial. It's the last thing done by Hugh Hefner before he died.
You promised me that you weren't going to show anybody that.
Well, don't trust me. I lie a lot. Anyway, so there's a new book coming out called Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. I believe it's coming out after The Last Jedi. It's a really interesting book. Apparently, they're using this book to fill in a lot of plot holes and kind of behind-the-scenes details that makes the story make more sense. So, like, for instance, one of the scenes... So basically, think of it as like a book of deleted scenes from the movie, right? So... Yeah. They got the writer group together and they said, okay, what doesn't make sense? What does make sense? How can we make it make more sense with like a little behind the scenes kind of conversation between characters in the movies? And they come up with this book. And so one of the things that's making it the rounds is that in this book, there's a conversation between Yoda and Obi-Wan that Yoda thinks that Leia was the chosen one, not Luke Skywalker, which is which fills in the gap of why Yoda didn't want to train Luke, why he was so cranky with him, and why him and Obi-Wan kind of were bickering about Luke's training. So that's just one of the little stories that they're doing. There's apparently there's a lot of conversation between the admirals of the Empire about Vader choking people out.
Oh, nice.
So it actually
I
sounds...
would watch that.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty cool book. It's not going to be your normal book, obviously. It's not going to tell one big story. It's going to kind of jump around from conversation to conversation. But I think it might be kind of cool, and it's going to be official canon. So it's going to try... It sounds like they're just trying to fill in a lot of little... Instead of trying to make, like Rogue One, make an entire movie out of one plot hole, they're like, it'd be easier and cheaper if we just made a book and filled in the gaps, right?
I would actually like it better just to have like a whole bunch of little snippets of stuff than just have like one big huge like overarching.
You mean like if they did just a bunch of shorts, like even animated or something?
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Just do a whole bunch of animated shorts or something.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, you know who's not going to do a bunch of animated shorts, Ryan?
Who's that?
Game of Thrones.
Me?
They're doing 6 long episodes of season 8, and they are going to be in excess of $15 million per episode.
So that's a lot of dragons.
No. Very importantly, there's only one thing that I care about in this. And what do you think that is, Ryan? With $15 million, what's the one thing we better get?
Wolf. We gotta get Ghost.
We need Ghost. We better get dire wolves. That's all I'm asking.
I want to see Wolf or Ghost jump off one dragon's back and onto the ice dragon, and then just bite the Night King right in the head.
Okay, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say we're not getting that right now.
I am sorry to everyone that's got to listen to this shit.
Yeah, it's everyone who listens to our show. Way to go, Ryan. You know what? I had the Porg lined up. He was ready to go. Look at this guy. He's ready. Look how much crack he did. Look at his eyeballs.
If I have to bail halfway through just because I'm going to start...
Well, that's not how this works. I would have to record your empty crack house. You need your own Porg, so then you can put the Porg on the shelf, and then you can leave, and then I can talk, and then you still be there.
Yeah.
And then I'll just... Whatever. Anyway, talking about Game of Thrones news, they announced the directors for Season 8. We are going to get, let's see, Miguel Spackanik, don't know who that is, David Nutter, and David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the showrunners, are going to be directing the series finale. So,
just to put that in perspective, one of the guys is the one that did Battle of the Bastards and Hard Home.
Yep.
And then the other one is the guy that did the Reigns of Castamere, the Red Wedding.
Yep. So pretty much they took the two guys that did best episodes, and they're going to direct 5 of them, and then the showrunners are going to direct the last one.
Who's going to direct the last one?
D.B. Weiss and Benioff.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if they've ever directed before, but hey, I'm not going to tell them no. They brought us Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, Game of Thrones, and hopefully George R. R. Martin's there to make sure some weird shit doesn't happen.
He's there to make sure the weird shit does happen, Ryan.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, more people need to die.
He's like, I need to tell the story now because I'm never writing the ending. So let me write the finale.
Yeah.
And he's already started. Apparently they brought in another writer to pitch another plot or pilot episode for a prequel series. But apparently George R. R. Martin's helping him write this one.
I'm sure they won't even let him make a pitch just because they know he'll never fucking finish it.
Oh, that's the thing, is he's helping this new writer make the pitch, write the pilot episode, and I don't know, whatever. I guess in my way of saying Winds of Winter is never coming out. Ever.
Nope. Never.
Alright, next week. You know what is coming out? It's coming out real soon. Stranger Things Season 2, Ryan. A couple weeks away.
God, I can't wait.
They released a badass new poster. It's going to be awesome.
The only slightly creepy horror show that I like ever.
You need to watch It.
I don't even...
It's amazing.
It's like Stranger Things, and I think I'll be able to get through it.
It is. It's exactly like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But with a big creepy clown, who, by the way, is coming back in October 2019 for the sequel. Or September 2019. Pennywise, It, Part 2. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I think that I probably won't see it in the theater, but I might watch it on Blu-ray.
I think you need to stop being a wuss.
I think you need to forcibly pick me up and drive me to a theater if you actually want me to see it.
Well, I'll do that.
How about that?
Next time I come out and visit you, I'll do that. But there's lots of things actually coming soon, so we're going to have a lot of previews of trailers. The Season 6 Arrow trailer just dropped today. Flash one won't be too far behind it. The Punisher may be coming out in October. We have a little Netflix thing that has a release date of October 13th for The Punisher, but I do not think that is coming out in October. I still think that's coming out in November, but that's not. There's been no official word on that. Rebels, the final season of Rebels. We got a badass new poster for that. That's coming out. Let's see here, where'd it go? October.
I still gotta finish season 1.
October 16th. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I still gotta finish season 1. Lincoln and I we have it all on Blu-ray. We just haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
I need that, so disappointed drop. So disappointed. What else we got here? We got a new trailer for Thor Ragnarok. Didn't watch it because Thor Ragnarok comes out in a month, and I don't need to see any more trailers.
Yeah, we've seen enough.
We definitely have seen enough. Let's see. You know what apparently everyone has decided we have not seen enough of is Die Hard. We reported a while ago that there was rumors they were going to do another Die Hard movie, but who knows what's going to happen. Apparently, they've officially got Bruce Willis on, and it's called Die Hard Year One. It's going to be a half and half. They're going to recast him, and half the movie is going to be an origin story with the younger McClane, and the other half is going to be like a finale with John McClane, played by Bruce Willis.
Didn't they kind of do that with the last Die Hard with his son or something like that?
Yeah, but that one
was supposed
sucked.
to be
That was the
taking
worst
over.
one of the entire thing. So I think they decided that was gonna just go away.
Yeah. Oh well.
Whatever.
I'll take it. I mean,
I've heard that
fucking
about
Die
you.
Hard.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, John McClane, I'll watch it. I watched the last one. It wasn't very good, but even then, it was still at least entertaining. Let's see here.
Every Die Hard, you can't go wrong.
Well, other things that are entertaining but aren't very good. The Underworld movies. Apparently, they're going to be remaking those into a television show. And the guy who created it, Lynn Weissman, well, at least brought the first few movies to the big screen, is spearheading the TV series. They're looking for like a cable network, so either like HBO or FX or Netflix or something, or a streaming service.
I think it could work as a serialized like TV show.
Well, apparently it's going to be less. They're saying it's going to be less comic booky and more like horror.
I could see that. I mean, it seems like we've kind of ridden through the whole werewolves and vampires thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like thanks to Twilight. So maybe this is the time that we'll get a lot more darker kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just cross our fingers and see what happens. Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind the darker Underworld. I mean, I think it'd probably be an alright show. I mean, depending on who picks it up, it will depend on who gets me excited for it, right? If Netflix or HBO says I want this, they have a pretty good track record of putting some good stuff on TV on the screen. Yeah. So I think it'd be fine.
Well, you can't count out everyone though. I mean, look at did anyone think the History Channel is going to have the best fucking Viking show ever? I mean, you never know what's going to happen. It just takes the right people putting it together.
Well, that's true. Well, funny you should mention the right people, Ryan. That's actually a pretty good segue to our next little story here that we're going to talk about, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So a story came out this week about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. getting renewed. So it got renewed last year, obviously, for this fifth season, and it got renewed really late, which made a lot of people which made a lot of people wonder if it was going to get renewed, and in the last minute it did. Which all of us were really excited because last season was one of the better seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like Ryan said, Ghost Rider was amazing. Story, I think it was Vulture or Deadline. They were talking to ABC about their schedule, and something kind of slipped that ABC did not want to renew Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but Disney came down and said, no, you're renewing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so ABC begrudgingly did it, and that's why it's moved to Friday, because that's a night that they don't care about. It's kind of it's the first time I've heard of Disney. I mean, this is the first time they've kind of flexed their Marvel muscle and said, hey, listen, Synergy, we want this on the air, and you're going to put it on the air. People who don't know, ABC is owned by Disney, so this is the top of the corporation coming down and saying, yeah, you're going to do what we tell you to do. And that doesn't actually happen a lot.
Yeah, I haven't really heard of anything like this happening where like the big huge parent company came down and said, hey, you got to keep this rolling. I think it makes the most sense in terms of the Marvel properties, just because this is, I mean, outside of Netflix, they don't have anything.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I also wonder if this is a move too, because Disney's launching, as everybody, we talked about recently. Disney's going to be launching their own streaming service, and they're going to need lots of content to put onto it. Now, not that Disney does not have tons of content, but this may be a scenario where they want to keep Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. alive, so maybe they can do a 10-episode season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., launch it with their new Disney app, or maybe they want to put all their Marvel shows under one thing. The last thing you want to do is, Inhumans isn't very good. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is mostly loved by the fans, and, it gets decent ratings. This could be a situation where they're looking maybe towards the future and saying, we got to keep these shows alive so that we have things to launch on our, actual...
The last season, it had its highest critical ratings that it's ever had. But I think the actual viewership ratings were not as high as it had been before, but like critically acclaimed, it had gone way up. So,
well,
I don't know. We'll see like where they try and find that balance. I mean, I think maybe this year they'll just say fuck it, and Disney wants us to keep it on. We'll just we'll just toss everything out there and see what sticks, and And that's kind of what my hope is. I want them to just fucking go for it. Just do like the shit that, it could have a high payoff and it couldn't. But I want to see them take a risk this year. They took a risk last year with Ghost Rider. And I
they're
think it really paid off.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. released a new poster. We haven't seen a trailer yet for this season because it's not coming till winter. We're going to get the Inhumans tomorrow night. Many of you, when you're watching this, Inhumans will be airing already. Me and Ryan have already committed to doing a Crap or Craptastic for the Inhumans, so we'll watch it over the weekend.
Yes.
But yeah, to your point, I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s going to space this season. Just go for it. You know what? We talk all the time about these the CW shows that just keep reaching for it, man. They're just going for it. They're going to be bringing a Sabrina the Teenage Witch show to the CW. They're spinning it out of Riverdale, but it's going to be a dark version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She's actually going to be the daughter of Lucifer in this, and it's not funny.
What?
Yeah, it's like a supernatural. They're calling it like Rosemary's Baby meets The Exorcist in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And so this is what CW is doing. They're just like, fuck it. I mean, the new poster came out, so every year all the Berlanti verse shows, the Arrow, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, Supergirl, they always do a big crossover. Well, this year they're doing a massive crossover. The poster they released for it is Crisis on Earth X, which, if anybody knows anything about Infinite Crisis, basically it's like, multiple worlds. The poster has all the good and evil versions of everybody going against each other. It looks amazing. And I love that they're just like, fuck it, we're going for it. And to your point, that's what I want to see with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sorry.
That's okay. But I want to see that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And my hope is they are keeping Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. alive so they can launch it along with their streaming service. So that way when we get the Disney, we're paying $12 a month for Disney. We're not just getting Disney movies. We're getting new content, right? Stuff you can only see on this. I would love to see them move Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to that because then it'd be worth my money to pay for it. It'd be giving me a series that I know they love, that's their baby. And, to me, a lot of people looked at it negatively that Disney had to save this. I look at it as a positive that Disney sees value in their Marvel brand, their Marvel television shows, and they see value in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So,
well, if there's one company that actually, other than Netflix, that actually had a viable enough amount of products to do a streaming service, it's Disney. I mean, CBS, they got fucking Star Trek. I mean, that's their only pull that they're trying to do for their streaming.
We're going to talk about Star Trek next, but before we get to that, the other thing, real quick, I want to pick your brain about and see what you think is, what if it is, too, that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the perfect launching pad? So let's say they want to make a whole bunch of Marvel shows to go along with their new streaming app. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a perfect vehicle for them to launch everything out of. You can spin Ghost Rider out of it. You want to bring Punisher in? How easy is it to have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. go to Hell's Kitchen because there's some guy who's dressed like a devil, and that's how you can spin him out of that. Or, all these, they travel looking at paranormal and super.
They got Agent Coulson's in space right now. Agent Coulson's in space. What's going to stop him from getting into the Thanos storyline?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is such a vast story that you can spin so many superheroes out of it. So instead of having to give us an origin story for Moon Knight, you could bring Moon Knight onto a season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then you can immediately spin him out if he's popular, right? And I think that's also why they want to keep Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. alive, because it's an easy show to spin out other shows and you don't have to set up origins for. But anyway, that's just that. But moving on to our other kind of big story tonight, CBS launched this week the Star Trek Discovery first episode, and then immediately made the second episode available on their CBS All Access app for $5.99, $6.99 a month. A lot of people did not realize it was pay, and apparently there was a lot of very angry Star Trek fans. I heard a lot of them this week.
Dude, if you're a Star Trek fan and you were not paying attention to any of that shit,
I think there's a lot of Star Trek fans who...
What the fuck were you doing this whole time?
I know I talked to a lot of people that are a little bit older. They're Star Trek fans, but they don't pay attention to all the up-to-date Star Trek news, right? I mean, clearly
so they just thought, there's a new Star Trek coming on TV.
But yeah, they see a commercial, Star Trek, and then at the end of the episode, they're like, to catch the other episode, subscribe to the CBS All Access. And like, I was talking to this one lady, she's like, I would get it, but they don't have an app I can watch on my TV, and I'm not watching it on my phone. CBS All Access apparently doesn't have an app for you can get on your television.
Oh, so you can't do it like Amazon Fire or anything?
Not that I'm aware of. I could be wrong. I haven't done a lot of research. I know there's a CBS
Uh,
app that you can get like on your Apple TV or Fire Stick, but I have not seen the
yeah.
CBS All Access. So they don't want to watch it on their computer or tablet. They want to watch it on their TV, and they want to make it easy, right? No surprise, it was pirated over 10 million times.
Yeah, it's going to be a highly pirated show.
Yeah.
And I think the CBS hopefully will see the error in their decision to try and do this stupid bullshit.
Well, I want to see it. From everything I've heard from people who have seen it, it's an amazing show. It's something really different and cool. So, that's cool, but...
Well, I'll never know because I'm not going to fucking watch the first episode to something that I can't see. I'll wait until it comes on Netflix.
And that's the hard part is that, we've had a lot of people ask us for our review and what we think. And you know what? If enough of you guys want us to review it, we'll watch it and review it. But yeah, I'm with Ryan. I mean, I don't want to commit to something that I know I'm not going to pay for, right? I mean, maybe when the whole season's out, maybe I'll sign up for like a 2-week free trial, watch it all real quick.
Fucking binge the shit out of it.
And then, cancel it. I think it's only going to be 10 or 13 episodes, but... I don't like this pay model. I know we just talked about Disney doing it, but I feel like Disney has so much to offer. I'm not paying CBS. I already pay CBS in my cable package, and I pay a lot of money for every month.
And I mean, really, they got other than Big Bang Theory and that new, like wherever the fuck the Baby Sheldon show.
Well, I like Elementary, but I'm not paying $6.99 a month for it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you already pay for it. You can just DVR this shit.
Listen,
if you
CBS,
really want
tell
to.
you what, here's the deal. If you allow me to opt out of the CBS package in my cable package, I will pay for CBS All Access. But I'm not paying for both. I'm just not. You should be able to do you should be able to do what you can do with all the other apps that they have. Put in your cable subscription information, and then you should be allowed to watch it, right?
Yeah, but they don't get money from that.
No, they don't get extra money from that.
They want to become. They want it to be like Netflix.
Ugh, whatever. You know what? I can sit here and rage about it all day. I'll eventually watch this new Star Trek show, but right now, just not going to do it. Boycott it.
Nope.
Last little bit of things we got for you guys before we move on to some questions from the Faithful 50 here. Stephen King apparently is popular right now. His show The Mist is not, though.
What are you talking about?
It was bad.
He's
it got
always
canceled.
been popular.
But I learned two things. One, Stephen King is popular this week. I learned that. And the other thing I learned, Ryan, is that Hollywood is getting all their news and ideas from us. Because, was it last week we talked about shows that we think should be redone? A couple of them we talked about were The Stand and Salem's Lot. Well, guess what Stephen King said is in the works? A new Salem Lot movie and a new Stand miniseries.
I'm really getting sick and tired of Hollywood watching our show, stealing our ideas, and then not giving us any credit for it. This is like, what, the 20th time now?
At least. And I don't mind you guys stealing our ideas, but you know what? Me and Ryan still have to go to work every day, and it's not on this show. We would love to just do this. So if you just help us out a little bit where we can do this full time and just give you guys free ideas, we'll do that. We're not even asking for much.
We should do a GoFundMe that raises money to get a lawyer so that we can get all the due money from all the people that are stealing our ideas.
Yeah, that works. I like that idea. That's really good. I'm gonna let you. That's gonna be your project, Ryan. I'm gonna put you in charge of that.
All
right. Lastly, Atari has announced all the details on their new Atari box coming out. It's gonna be about $300. No word on what games. It's gonna have a couple pretty powerful chips. We'll see what it's got, but that's coming soon. Atari coming back in a big way. And lastly, there's been a couple trailers released. The final installation of the Death Maze is coming out. I don't know if you guys watched the Maze Runner. I like I've seen the first couple. They're decent movies.
Yeah, I watched the first one. I didn't watch the second one.
The first one was good. The second one didn't involve anybody running mazes, which was weird. But but it was a fun series.
Is this next one
going to
be in a
than
maze?
Some of the other ones.
It's the last one in a maze, or?
Yeah, it's the last one. It was supposed to come out this year, but the Dylan, I forget his name. Anyway, the main star got hurt on set, and they had to stop production.
I thought he died. Didn't he die or something?
No, a lot of people were concerned. There was rumors that his injuries were really bad, but they weren't that bad. And anyway, they finished it. Something else that would be really bad is Darren Aronofsky. I don't know. The guy who just directed the worst, like one of the worst movies of all time, Mother. People hate that movie. He said that he would like to direct. He'd like to throw his name in the hat to direct the next Superman movie. No. Nope.
Not going to do it.
Hell no. Hell to the no. Get the fuck out of here.
Go away.
No.
No.
I do like some of Mr.
Hollywood.
Aronofsky's movies. A few of them are pretty good. Do not want to see you do anything with the Superman movie, ever.
Yeah. We know you're listening, Hollywood.
Ever.
So we're saying no.
No. What's that song? Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Nope. Yeah. Let it go. Be like Elsa, man. Let that shit go. Let it go. Yeah, all right. Anyway, and then lastly, if you've forgotten, fuck, I can't even talk tonight. If you've forgotten, Pacific Rim Uprising is coming soon, and there's posters out to prove it, and they look pretty badass. We got them up on the Facebook page. Check them out.
I really like the poster. The poster looks like with the spilled paint kind of thing.
Yeah, well, there's two of them. There's Finn, and there's Clint Eastwood's kid, and they look pretty badass. They got the new Jaegers, and they look awesome. I don't know. I love that movie. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought it was great.
I love the shit out of Pacific Rim. I think I gave you some of the posters that we got.
Yeah, I still got a whole bunch of that
big
shit
ass poster
in my closet, man. My daughter still wears the Pacific Rim original T-shirt to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then lastly, apparently a lot of people have seen Blade Runner 2049, and they say it is a mind-blowing, ground-breaking sci-fi masterpiece. Hey, ask me if I'm going to see it.
Brian, are you going to go see it? I know you love the original Blade Runner.
Well, Ryan, if I need a good snooze-a-thon, I'll go check it out, but probably not. Hey! Because the first Blade Runner, wait for it, is fucking boring. I know it's not a popular geek view, but we're not here to be popular.
We have a certain friend of the show who's going to have some words with you.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Right now, he's probably picking up his Mac and throwing it across the room. But probably not, because I'm sure the thing was expensive.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Listen, I get it. And don't tell me to watch a different version. I've seen all 77 versions of the original Blade Runner, and they're all boring. Maybe if I would have watched it when I was like 8 and that technology was cool, now it looks like a bad sci-fi movie. And I love Harrison Ford. I love him to death. Somebody said Harrison Ford? You talking about Blade Runner? You hear I punched that pussy Ryan Gosling right in his fat face?
Have you ever been to the Stars of Orion?
I've been to Uranus. Chewie, bring the whiskey. I made a funny joke. God damn Harrison. You know, we should have asked him what his review was of Blade Runner. Whatever. But anyway.
I mean, I watched the first trailer, but I don't know. I want to try watching those little shorts that they have. That are like trying to like bridge the gap.
All joking aside, I do really like
Stormtroopers, Brian.
I know.
Are there any Stormtroopers in Blade Runner? Because that'd be really good.
Stormtroopers. I've been freezing all night, man. I think it's your stupid cell phone. It's fucking up my computer.
Oh yes.
No, all joking aside, Blade Runner, I can understand why people like it. It is a deep thought movie. It makes you think a lot. I like my sci-fi a little less boring. But this new one, this new one looks very good. I'm much older. I can sit for a 2.5 hour talkathon where nothing happens and enjoy it a little bit more. But the director, I'm a big fan of his, and everything I've seen, I've watched all the shorts, and they do look really cool.
The only thing that I didn't like about Blade Runner is that there's a lot of like deep stuff that because I don't catch all of it. And then when somebody tells me like, oh well, when they were doing that one thing, it meant this whole like, well, why didn't they fucking say that? Like, well, it's kind of you just need to know. It's like, no, I don't know.
Is he a replica? Is he not a replica? I didn't even fucking care. At that point, whatever. Deckard, you've done better movies, namely Indiana Jones. Listen, I want my Harrison Ford punching Nazis. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, this movie, it looks really good. I don't know if I can handle Jared Leto. Apparently, he wore contact lenses that made him blind because he wanted to method act that shit. If you want to method act, just hire a blind person.
Mm-hmm.
But
hire me, I'll do it.
Yeah, I can just imagine Jared Leto's pompous ass on set with, "I'm blind, someone take me around by the elbow." Oh, I just wouldn't. If I was Harrison Ford, he should have punched him instead of Ryan Gosling.
I sat around with Stevie Wonder, and he told me everything to do.
God, anyway, whatever. I'm sure it'll be good. I'll check it out at least when it comes on HBO. Woo!
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Unless you got anything else you want to add to our conversation, Ryan?
Do you want to hear me cough some more? I can do that.
That's not adding. That's distracting. That's not a good thing.
Oh.
All right, fine.
Well,
moving on. We got a lot of good
have
questions. Faithful 50.
We got some great questions this week from the Faithful 50.
Who's up first? Who's on deck first? First of all, wait a minute. Before, I'd like to thank everybody who submitted a question. You guys are awesome for coming back every week, and I'm really doing a lot of these finger things today. I don't know why. I'm going to sit on my hands now. But thank you guys for submitting a question, and as always, we're here to answer them. That's your cue, Ryan. God.
And just so people know, this is Bobo and Lil Devil. And
that was a giant penis. What do you have on your phone?
It's just the two fat guys from the picture.
I know. So my wife
Bobo,
actually shared the post, and I'm thinking, like, God, she picked a weird week to share the post. I think all her friends are like, who in the hell is
yeah, she could have done it like on one of like the better pictures that I put up, but
well. Side note, I'd like to hear everyone's opinion, so I'm going to ask you guys a question that you guys can answer in the comments below, or ask us or let us know next week. There's been discussion. We were talking about this movie in particular because of the picture here, about movies from the 80s and 90s and how great they were. And so we had actually thrown around the idea of doing a separate, maybe once-a-month podcast where me, Ryan, and our good friend Chris get together and discuss one movie per show from the 80s or 90s. So at length and joke about it. So if that's something you guys would like us to do, please let us know, because I'm down to do that. And it would be super fun.
If you want to get started, go watch Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah. Ugh.
And
maybe we'll do that one first.
Chris, our first question is from Chris, and he definitely knows why I posted this. And he said, "Are you loud in the house?" And the question is, no, we're not. But we came in anyways.
Ryan's allowed in the crack house.
Now, go watch Nothing But Trouble and tell me what you think about that hot dog scene.
Oh, God.
Chris wants to know, is that the Kardashians? Yes, that's what they looked like before they put on all the makeup and vagina goos that they have to do. I don't know. And then he also...
Whoa. We're not skating over that. What is vagina goo?
I don't know. I just making shit up.
What is going on at your house? That is... I'm a little perturbed by that. All right, moving on. Next one. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for the question.
Here's the real question from Chris. He wants to know, will the Punisher be the first character from a Netflix series to be in an MCU fan?
Before we answer that, is this evil Chris or good Chris?
Good Chris.
Oh, okay, good.
This is the not goateed Chris.
Oh, thank God. That guy's a dick. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, good Chris, no. We're never getting the MCU characters in a movie. It's just not going to happen right now.
Yeah, nobody from Netflix is going to transition. They're going to keep that very separate.
I would love to see it happen.
Future.
And I do think that if there was going to be somebody who was going to make his way to the movies, it'd be Daredevil, because he is the strongest character of the group, at least as of now. I do think the Punisher has potential to be their best series. But right now, I'd have to say if anybody was going to move, it'd be Matt Murdock, and Marvel just seems to have no interest whatsoever in the television properties, like at all. So,
except for keeping Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on, that's about all they really are trying to do.
It's got Coulson. Keep Coulson alive.
Yes, thank you, good Chris.
Yep.
Now we have Brian from Washington. He wants to know, how do you like to watch your football games? In the stadium, the bar, with friends, or at home by yourself? Well, I would have to say by yourself is probably the saddest way.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, You can cheer.
I mean, I guess if you're a
stuff.
Steelers fan, you probably don't have any friends, so you probably have to watch it by yourself a lot. But if you're a Seahawks fan, I prefer to watch it. I prefer to watch it with a few of my close friends. But I also the last game we were all busy, so I just watched it with my wife. That was sometimes it's kind of nice to just relax and not have someone secretly or verbally or out loud judge you when you're screaming and hollering and throwing beers.
Yes. I have to say, at home with my family is probably my favorite way. But last year we went to a Steelers game as a family, and that was fucking awesome. Just to have my kids finally get to experience it for the first time. And for both of them, it was actually like their first real football game. Like, they've never been to college football or high school or anything like that. So I would say stadium for like that once, maybe once a year, every couple of years. But other than that, and
I have season tickets, so I go to the games a lot. But honestly, I only usually go to about half the games because playoff games, when you get to go to a lot of games, they're not as much fun as just watching it at home on your big screen, right? And there's other things.
You can you can wear those sweatpants.
Yeah, well, and I'm getting old, so there's the weather that gets in the factory. It gets kind of cold.
Oh, my God.
And you got to pay $40
You're not even
for
40,
parking.
Brian. You're not even 40 yet.
And you
can't
got to
complain
pay,
about
shut up, man. And
weather.
you got to pay like $15 a beer. You're just like, ugh. It gets kind of expensive. Now, if you're talking playoff games, the best way to watch a playoff game is in the stadium. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
I would not doubt that.
So I'm going to take I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit on this, Brian, and I'm going to say all of the above, man. It just depends on the circumstance. I don't really feel like there's a wrong way to watch an NFL game. I will say one of my favorite ways to watch an NFL game, Brian, is on my knee.
So, thank you, Brian. And then we got a question from David. He wants to know what to expect for the new show, The Gifted. The new X-Men. Is it X-Men-esque? Or is it X-Men?
It's just...
I can't remember. The Gifted, isn't it? It's a show about X-Men. It's on Fox.
No, it's not about... Well, yes, okay. So it's about
Fox?
mutants. It's set in the X-Men universe, but it's not actually about the X-Men. I have it set to record. It starts actually this Monday on Fox. I think 8 or 9 o'clock. So it follows the story of... Just real quick. It follows the story of a family who are... The father is a lawyer who persecutes mutants. He's very anti-mutant. So is the mother. And then they find out both their kids are mutants. And then they kind of have to go on the run because the X-Men in this universe, the X-Men are gone. There's like a secret underground railroad for mutants because they are persecuted. And it's basically this family on the lam from these Sentinel anti-mutant units.
Is Stryker going to be in it then?
I don't know. There's very few people that we've heard of in this. There are some mutants you've heard of. Blink, maybe you might have heard of. I know who Blink is. There's I forget who else is
Hopefully
in it.
it's not like
Polaris,
the first couple of...
Polaris, Magneto's daughter. She's part of X Factor in the comics. She's in this. They're doing a lot of the B-name characters, and they're specifically picking characters that have powers that are very low budget.
Yeah.
So here's what here's what I've heard, and then I'll talk what I think about it. So what I've heard so far is that the pilot is actually really good. It's directed by Bryan Singer, so take that. You know how I feel about Bryan Singer. Fuck that guy.
You love all the Bryans.
I will say Bryan Singer's television record's been a little bit better. He directed the first episode of House. I loved House. He brought that show. He's been better on television, I think, than he has in his movies. All that being said, I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's a very personal story. All the actors involved are really good actors, so that gives me some hope. But as far as what do I think this show's going to struggle long term because I think when you have an X-Men show, eventually you want the X-Men, and the X-Men are gone from this universe. And mutants, they're gonna eventually face the same problem that heroes face, is that when you don't put budget into a show of people with incredible powers, it feels cheap, and it feels like you're trying to avoid a show with mutants with incredible powers. And so if they can keep the story small and personal, I think the show has a chance to be really good if it's good. let's be honest. If it's well acted, I mean, I watched Legion. It was really strange to start, but it was well acted. The story was well drawn out, and eventually it sucked me in. So it doesn't matter how strange or different it is. If they do a good job with the acting and the stories, we're gonna watch it and we'll be invested. Will it ever be what we hope it's going to be? Probably not. It'll never be the X-Men. It'll never be the show that we want it to be. But I think it can be good.
I think if it's like how Gotham started, then I probably won't be like, because that show they tried too really hard to like wink and nod about everything. So if the Gifted is doing a lot of winking and nodding and trying to do, like, oh, hey, this, Jean Grey,
that's a good
wink,
point.
wink, wink.
If they tell their own story.
If they're doing a lot of that shit, then that's going to turn me off really fast.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want the tease that, this could have been the possibility and that you guys are just trying to get, people all excited for nothing.
No, that's a good point. That's kind of what
why
Agents...
I only watched like the first 5 episodes of Gotham and then I gave up. I was like, I'm fucking tired of,
Well, that's kind of what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tried to do in the season 1. They kept like, oh, the Avengers are just right around the corner. You know what? Don't even talk about the Avengers. That's one thing Legion did a good job of. And I know a lot of people didn't like Legion, and I understand why. It's a very different type of show. But they embraced the fact that Professor X was his father, and they teased us and kind of led us in that direction. They didn't just like, oh, there's a guy in a wheelchair, wink, wink, and then just move on from it, right? They embraced their... They did it in a way that they didn't have to bring him into it, but gave us what we needed at the same time. So, to your point, if they try and tell their own story, I think you're right. I think it can be I think it can be its own thing. I don't know if it'll be a great series long term, just because eventually if you're watching a show about mutants, same thing like when we watch Heroes, you want to see some badass shit. And if you're if you got a low budget, you're never going to see that. So I don't know, but I don't know. I'm going to watch it. I went from having
I'll definitely give it a try.
I went from thinking this was going to be absolute garbage to having, not great expectations, but, hopeful it can be at least an enjoyable show.
I agree.
And who was that from?
That was from our good friend, David.
Thank you, David. Thanks for the question.
So our next one it's a lady.
Ooh.
We have a girl that left a question for us.
I feel like she's a sexy lady. If she listens to this show, she's definitely sexy.
I don't know. The last name sounds familiar.
Who is it?
But it's Holly. It's a girl named Holly.
What's her last name?
I don't know if she's like a Christmas person. A Holly Weist, it looks like.
Oh, Holly West. Yes, we do know that show. We do know that lovely, sexy lady.
Do you know? You know this person?
I do. My name's Brian West, so I'm just gonna say that I could possibly know her.
Okay.
Very intimately.
So she wants to know, how did you meet your amazing wife, and what has caused her to stick around for 19 years? That's a long time to stick around.
Well,
for
considering
a man.
Considering I don't think you've been with your wife for 19 years, this must be, in fact, my beautiful, beloved, sexy wife, Holly West.
I'm on 14.
14. All right, so it's me. Yes, I have known my wife for 19 years is when we met. So when I was a wee lad.
A wee lad.
With my box full of Playboys.
And I believe you had a Slim Shady haircut.
Oh God, yes. It was bad. I bleach blonde it. Yes, I was just a fashion. You know what? Don't you fucking judge me, people. That shit was cool back in 1999. I took her to the Vans Warped Tour where we saw Eminem perform live before he was even really famous.
Did you have the puka shell necklace?
I did. I had the hip puka shell necklaces, like where it had pukas weaved in the hemp. Oh yeah, dude. I was listening to Third Eye Blind all day long. Cool. It was great, dude. It was bad, so bad. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about those days.
So answer the question, Brian.
All right, what's the question again?
How did you meet her?
Okay.
Part 1. Part 2 is what made her stick around.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna answer part 2 first. So, my guess is the reason why she sticks around is because I'm ruggedly handsome. I have eyes that if you stare in too long, your whole entire face will just melt into. And I have a huge personality.
Yes.
Honestly,
it's
I think
good
the
to
only
have
reason she's stuck with me this long is because huge personality.
Yeah, you do have a huge throbbing personality.
I have a huge throbbing personality. Honestly, because I could make her laugh. My wife has stuck with me for 19 years. Let's see, 12 of those married. Because I could make her laugh. So any of you guys out there who are looking for a lady, obviously you should
have
keep
a huge
yourself
throbbing
in good,
personality
decent shape
for one.
and maybe shave a little bit or shower occasionally. But if you can make a woman laugh, genuinely laugh, she'll be with you forever.
Yes.
But anyway.
So, and the part one was how did we
meet? So, funny story. I met my wife at a Dairy Queen, which is actually pretty fitting considering how much I fucking love ice cream, which we've talked about on this show. No, I've
heard some of this story from my wife, who was also there at some point.
Yeah.
While you were trying to seduce her at a Dairy Queen.
Fun fact, I used to party with Ryan's wife before Ryan even knew her. I've known Ryan's wife longer than he has.
Yes.
Fun fact. I was playing semi-pro football, and we were practicing up at a school, kind of right where near my wife's work at Dairy Queen. She was a manager. Where'd you go? You turned? Oh, there you are.
My thing said
the story's
10,
not bad,
I have 10% battery.
All right, well, I'll make this quick. So anyway, I was working at Dairy Queen where she was the manager, or she was working at Dairy Queen where she was the manager. We wanted someplace after practice to just kind of go hang out and talk about football and stuff. And so somebody said, hey, let's go to Dairy Queen. All right. So we go to Dairy Queen, and the whole place was full of cute girls working there. So we quit talking about football, and we just immediately would show up there and just try and mack on the girls all day long. Hey, yes, mack. We were 19-year-old dudes, right?
Yeah.
And so we're talking to girls, and so she wasn't there the first couple times, and so she showed up like the third or fourth time. And she was not thrilled. She did not like us coming in because all we did was distract her workers. And it's not one of my prouder moments, but we all just called her the bitch. I didn't even know her name. We just called her the bitch. Yes, I get it. It's not a very nice thing to say about a lady. But like I said, I was 19. It was 99. Whatever.
You wanted your Blizzard with a side of Putang.
Yes. One time I made her get me a new Blizzard and she threw it at me. So, you'll ask her. She was totally kind of being a bitch. But anyway, we called her the bitch. I did not know her name. Whenever we would see her, we were like, fuck, the bitch is here. Let's not. And we'd come back some other time, right? And so one time I didn't go, and some of my friends went, and they came back, and we were all living together. And so they came back, and they're like, hey, you know that one manager chick, the mean one? I'm like, yeah. I was like, dude, she thinks you're hot. And I'm like, what? I was like, screw her. And so we go a couple weeks later, and my friend is like, dude, you should totally try and get her number. She thinks you're hot. And I'm like, dude, she's mean. He's like, dude, just go talk to her. I'm like, all right. So I go and I'm just trying to, it's like, this is like the classic taming of the shrew, right? I'm just trying to get her to give me my number because she's mean. And so I go over there and I'm like, hey, because I had these tickets to this football game I had to sell. I was like, hey, you want to buy some tickets to my game? And she's like, fuck you. Why would I want to go to your stupid game? I'm like, fine, whatever. Fuck you. And then she comes up and sits next to me, right? And I'm just like, why are you sitting next to me? And she's like, she just starts talking. I'm like, all right, whatever. And so I'm like, get out of here. So that's when I gave her another one of my blizzards, like, go make me another blizzard. So I give it to her. She goes back to the counter. She comes back, throws a blizzard at me. And I'm like, man, fuck her. I do not like this girl. And I'm about to leave. And as I'm about to leave, she goes, hey, come here. And I'm like, what? She slides me a piece of paper with a number on it. I did not know her name until I got her number because on the paper it had her name, Holly. And I had her phone number.
And that was when she graduated from the bitch to Holly.
Yeah, and so she slid me the paper and says, tell you what, why don't you give me a call and we'll talk about those tickets. And, you know what, I gave her a call. Needless to say, she never paid for any of those tickets and went to all my games for free. And we've been together ever since. So,
aww,
more of that story is love is not always on first sight. Sometimes you may hate the person that you meet who becomes your spouse. But, yeah, there we go. That's the story about Brian met Holly.
I This is a love story that could be made into a movie, Brian.
Yeah, well, if Hollywood suddenly has a movie where they have they redo Taming of the Shrew and it starts out at a Dairy Queen, we are fucking suing. I'm telling that shit right now. God damn it, Hollywood! Quit stealing all my true life stories. It won't
be a Dairy Queen. It would be like a Frosty Blizzard's place.
Sued immediately. All right. Well, next up. Anyway, thank you, Holly West. You beautiful, sexy woman. Thank you for the question.
But we're going a little long anyway. And Chris has got another a story question. So
all right. Well, what do you got?
We have one last question from Evil Chris. He wants to know the best drunk story. And go.
Well, one time I got really, really wasted, did about 15 shots, and decided we were camping, decided to go hunt a cougar with a stick. Needless to say,
an old lady or an actual cougar?
Like an actual hairy four-legged cougar. This is probably not the best drunk story, but this is the one I can tell short because we're running long. So I ended up running off into the woods at like 1 in the morning because my friends dared me, like, you won't go kill a cougar. I'm like, I'm gonna kill this cougar. And so I ended up waking up. My boots got stuck in the mud. I woke up, my shirt ripped on a tree, and I woke up at like 4 in the morning, half frozen to death in the woods, snuggling with my stick. Yeah, that was 17. That was a bad move.
I think the most drunk I've ever got was one of them, at least, was in college, and my friend had one of those shot glasses that could hold like 5 shots.
Uh-huh.
And so they were like lined up, like, so 1 shot with the freshman, 2 with the sophomore, so on. And so we were like, let's just start off with the freshman shot. So we each, did a shot, and then we were like, all right, let's go do some seniors, And so then we, did like some seniors, just, chugged it down. And we were just doing this, and he had a roommate at the time that didn't drink, and he goes, you guys should probably stop. We're like, why? He's like, have you guys been counting, like, how many actual shots you've had? And we're like, no, not really. He's like, in about the last 10 minutes, you guys have done 15 shots.
Oh, Jesus.
And so we're like, okay. And so we went out and
just fucking hit you.
Oh God, I the only thing I remember from that night is that it had snowed.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend fell on the ice, and he was laying on his back, and he goes, look, I'm a turtle, I can't get up. And he was just like squirming around, like laying on his back, like kicking his arms and feet in the air. And a car was pulling out, and it just stopped with its headlights on us. It just watched us for 5 minutes. Nice. As I'm like trying to pull my friend up, and then I'm just falling over on top of him. Dude. And he just kept pretending to be a turtle, and awesome. Just like falling fucking everywhere. And I'm sure those people had like the best 5 minutes of their life just watching us trying to get to the fucking parking lot.
Wasted. You know what? Here's a bonus story for you guys. I was in Whistler at a bachelor party, just wasted. And in Whistler, they actually do these shots. They'll do flaming Dr. Peppers. They'll light them on fire for you. You can drink them. And so one guy lit it, and I put my hand out, and I'm like, slide it to me. He slides it down, and I catch it, and my arm lights on fire. I'm like, ah! I'm like, give me another one. So he fucking slides me another one, and I try and douse it with alcohol, and now it's like, I'm like, ah! So I reach over the bar and then douse it. And the guy's like, holy shit, you're a maniac. And I go to high five him. You ever seen those, like, where they have the wine glasses hanging on the rack? So I go to high five this dude, but I hit all the wine glasses. And so he just ducks and they all go flying and shatter behind him. And then I had to run out of the bar. And then I kept trying to get back in, and the bouncer wouldn't let me back in. And so I kept being the guy. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I pretend like I'm walking away and then try to run in real quick. And then these guys are just laughing their ass off, right? Because I was, being funny about it. And then finally, after like 10 minutes trying to get in, I was like, you know what? Your guys' bar sucks anyway. I don't want to be seen in this establishment. And then I walk off and fell face first into the road in Whistler. Yeah, it was a good time.
That sounds like a good party.
But I rallied. Apparently, though, I had some rocks stuck to my face that nobody told me about for like 5 minutes.
Oh,
it was great.
Goodness.
Oh, the good days. I couldn't do that now. I'd die. I'm old.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, the last time I got completely obliterated drunk was when the Packers beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and and the next morning we had to leave, and I was just and we bought a Jack in the Box on the way out to the airport to try and get some hangover food, and I was just barfing in a Jack in the Box bag. Just hanging outside the car.
We did have an old episode telling drunk stories. I had a buddy on his graduation night, so drunk he'd eaten, like, his mom made this giant plate of chicken. He ate it all, and we just pounded whiskey all night. And on the way home, he looks at me in the face and then just pukes chicken all over me, right? He pukes chicken all over me, pukes chicken all over the guy who's driving. Dude, he puked chicken into the guy's CD player, right? And so we were on our way to Taco Bell, and I was like, oh, fuck. And I told the guy, I was like, shit, what do you want to do? He's like, fuck it, I'm hungry. So we drive up to Taco Bell, and we're all covered in puke. And the guy's like, rough night? And we're like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to throw a couple extra burritos in here for you. Yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, my God. All right, moving on. Do we have any more questions? Is that it?
No, that was the last of the questions. Thank you, everyone, for sending us something.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for Evil Chris, for walking us down memory lane. That was a good one. We'll have to have maybe we'll have to have a whole segment where we just tell drunk stories. Now that I'm talking about them, they're starting to flow freely. Anyway, all right, you got any before we get out of here? Well, like Ryan said, thank you everybody who submitted a question. As always, we put up our post on Thursday. You guys can always feel free to submit there, or if you have a question that you want to ask us before then, just hit us up and we'll make sure we read it on the show. I did real quick before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to Trevor. Trevor is not on social media, which I recently found out, so that is why he never comments, but he watches our YouTube videos regularly and is one of our most prolific commenters. And so he had a little comment. Last week I reviewed it, and he had a comment on my review. More about the movie that I wanted to read on the show, since Trevor never gets any love because he never submits questions. But he is a loyal member of the Faithful 50, so I want to give him a quick shout out. So Trevor had his own opinion of it, and he let it be known. So here's Trevor's comments on it. It was weak as fuck. I don't understand the hype. Wow. I was watching people get carded again. Why the hell? It's only a comedy action adventure movie. I was in anticipation for the best horror movie ever, and I was let down bigly. He was let down bigly. His wife is a girl who has nightmares all the time, and she walked out fine. Not once did she freak out. He was pissed. Fuck it. Got it. All right, well, thank you, Trevor, for that spellbounding commentary on it. I do believe that I did say it's not actually a horror show. So, I think we're covered. But anyway, there we go.
Thank you.
If you want to leave a comment on our show,
more questions.
Always hop on there like Trevor and leave a comment. But I wanted to give Trevor a shout out since he comments all the time, and we do not ever give Trevor love. So Trevor,
thank you, Trevor.
You're loved. Here's a hug.
It's much appreciated.
We love you all. Anyway, all right. Before we get out of here, you got any recommendations? I got a quick one.
My recommendation this week is that homeschool your kids so that they don't go to school and then catch whatever fucking diseases some other shitty parents who probably don't vaccinate their kids, and then they bring it home and it makes everyone else get sick. And just never send your kids to school. Don't let them ever go outside and make friends, because they're going to get them sick, and then you're going to get sick, and your life's going to suck for a week.
That sounds pretty selfish. That's a selfish recommendation. You want your kids to be those kids, so you don't get sick ever. You know, maybe you should just take vitamin C. My recommendation is Ryan quit being a girl and take vitamin C. God. Not that being a girl's a bad thing, but, you know, whatever. Quit being a wuss and take vitamin C. Let me rephrase that. All right, my recommendation, I have two quick recommendations. The first one is a lot of people this week have decided they're going to burn their NFL gear. I have no commentary. I believe I already said everything I need to say on that. But I will say this. If you've decided you no longer want to watch the NFL and you want to get rid of all your NFL gear, don't be an asshole and burn it. We already have holes in the ozone layers and, CO2 emissions. Give it to somebody. Go give it to a homeless person. Put it in a bag, box it up, and mail it to Puerto Rico. Those poor bastards need everything they can get right now Shit's bad in Puerto Rico. So all I'm going to say is if you have decided you're going to give up the NFL, take all your NFL gear and donate it to somebody who could really use it. There's a lot of people out there who need things, and you could do much better with your stuff than light it on fire. So anyway, but my other recommendation real quick is HBO just recently started a show called The Deuce. It takes place in 1970s New York, and it kind of chronicles the rise of the pornography industry, and it gives a real intricate view into pimps and prostitutes and just kind of the scene in New York. It's created or brought, the showrunner is the guy who did The Wire, so it's kind of real gritty, but it's actually really entertaining. The first 3 episodes are on demand right now on HBO Go, and I put on the first one and just burned through all 3 of them. Really good show.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Really good show. Highly recommended. It's not a lot of fun, but it's just, I don't know. It'll give you a different perspective of things in the 70s. But anyway, I highly recommend it. The Deuce on HBO right now. All right, man. Got anything else?
I think that if people want to find us where I'm not sick and listen to commentary or our daily posting, mostly Brian. Good job. You can find us on Twitter at the Geek Dad Report. Brian is Brian West 53, and I am Big Bruiser. We are on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, all as the Geek Dad Report. Just type it in and then leave a comment, a 5-star rating, like, subscribe, friend us, send us direct messages, do all the fun things. Just take a little bit of time. If you could, just to give us a rating or anything like that. Every little bit helps. And we really appreciate it. And we love everything that you guys have been doing to help us grow. And we're only going to have more fun.
Yeah, and do not forget to check out the Geek Dad Report versus the NFL, the weekly NFL show where we talk about, mostly me at this point, but Ryan will be on at some point.
Yes.
Where we talk about our predictions for the week and a lot about what's going on in the NFL. It's just kind of a fun NFL show, and you can check that out also on the Geek Dad Report. Let us know what you think. This week, 1-0, people. I predicted the Packers would win, and they did. But, whatever.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us this week, guys. Ryan, thanks for gutting it out, you big weenie. You're lucky I didn't replace you with the Porg. I'm not going to mention the other guy because I want him to show up before we get out of here. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Stay awesome, everybody.
Stay nerdy, everyone.